Hi, welcome to this video. So today's makeup video is really basic and easy, I promise. It's just concentrating on a very light, lifted, natural base look today. So just mainly aiming at the foundation, the base of the makeup. It's concentrating on product placement, so how placing our products in different areas in our makeup routine can really create a different look. I love this one in particular because it's super simple to do, especially in the morning on a school run, and it really leaves me looking fresh and glowy. And a lot of people as well, in this particular technique that's going around at the moment, helps to give a youthful look to the skin too, which is just great in general, right? So some of the makeup I'm using today is by The Body Shop. I'm going to be using the Fresh Nude foundation as the base, and I'm going to be going in and using a couple shades of the Vitamin C concealer. These are really nice and creamy, and they are super easy to blend in, which is going to help create the look today. So keep watching and hopefully you may learn a new tip or two. Okay, so I'm just going to pin my hair up out of the way, and then you guys can actually see what's going on. Cool. So I have cleansed, toned and moisturized my skin today. Of course, having a great skincare routine will ensure that you have great makeup too. Your makeup will never be a 10 if your skincare is a 2. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of a hydrating primer. This is the Vitamin E Jelly Mist. I just spray a few pumps onto clean hands and I'm just going to work it into the skin. I like this because it leaves like an ever so slightly tacky layer behind on the skin. And it absorbs really quickly too. When you have a little bit more time, just kind of let your primer or your hydrating primer or your cream, whatever you're using as a primer, just to sink in for a couple of minutes, so then it's not then getting in the way of your foundation and everything else. So just tap it in and just let it set. So I'm going to be going in with this today. This is the Fresh Nude foundation and this is shade Light 3C. These are a really nice kind of everyday natural foundation. They come in 40 shades as well. And I'm going to mix in between applying it with a damp beauty blender and my buffing brush. So a damp beauty blender is a really nice way of applying foundation. It kind of bounces around the skin a lot more quicker. You can help to use it to create a more dewy effect. And some people argue that you can really help to build the coverage. And obviously because it has no kind of brush bristles in there, it doesn't leave any marks on the face. So I'm going to be using a mixture of these two today. Okay, so I have a little bit of foundation just on the back of my hand here, and I'm just going to start buffing this into the skin. So I'm just using a small amount, again, because I just want it to look light and natural. This is a very nice brush too. It kind of effortlessly just blends in the foundation all over the face, which is especially great if you are in a rush, which I am most mornings. And I'm just going round my eyebrows. I have got a little bit of colour in my face. I am not long back off my holiday from the United States of America. We had an incredible time at Disney World. I'm going to do a video on that at some point. So again, I'm just blending that all in. So you'll notice when I do the foundation, I'll always pretend there's like a circle in the middle of my face, and that's where I want the majority of the coverage to be, because that's where the majority of the discoloration or redness usually is on most people's faces. And then you want the least amount of makeup around the hairline, around the jaw as well. And anything that I have left on the brush, I'll just kind of blend it down my neck and gently into my hairline, just to help give me a natural, more she's not wearing makeup look. Okay, and again, blending out all that, I'm really happy with that, and I'm just flicking a little bit over my eyelids too. Nothing professional today, just quick and happy and fresh. So I'm happy with that. I think that's a really nice coverage there. Blends really pretty down the neck. You can just see a little bit there. Okay, so I'm going to go in now with my concealers. I'm going to use a lighter shade, and then I'm going to go ahead and use a darker shade. So whenever we use a darker, more cooler shade on the skin, it creates a shadow, so it casts a shadow. And then when you use a lighter colour, it will bring the feature forward. So when you use the two together, it helps to sculpt the face. And as always, remember, less is more. So I'm just going to have a little look here. It's not quite dark enough. So I'm going to go in with the deep 1N, and I'm just going to go ahead now and do a few dots on my cheekbones and around the head area, just to help give me a little bit of a contouring bronzed effect. Now, again, product placement, where you place these products can have a big change of look to your makeup. So normally you could do your contour at the top of your ear, bring it down. Some people take it from the top of the ear to the edge of the nose. It all depends what you want to do. My advice would be to try different things, see what suits you, and see what suits your face shape the best. So I'm going to do mine just above where I would usually do it, just so it's creating that lifted effect again. So I'm just going to do a couple dots just there, just so it helps to lift it. And then I'm going to do just a couple around the side here. And then I'll blend this side in, and then you can see the difference. Now again, you can use your buffing brush if you want to. You might have a different brush for this, or you can go ahead and use your damp beauty blender, whatever you want to do. I always like to have a damp beauty blender at hand, just in case the product doesn't give me enough time to work it in. But like I said, these concealers are really creamy, and they give you enough time to work with the product to make sure everything's blended in. So already I can just see it's just giving me an ever so slightly lifted effect. I'm going to go ahead and apply a couple more dots. Like I said, less is more. It's always best to have a little bit less on there, and then I can add more to it, rather than applying loads and then, you know, it gets messy. Again, I'm blending. You'll notice that when I'm blending as well, I'm blending it up towards the hairline. This is going to help me to kind of concentrate and control the product placement. So I'm just lifting it all up, and again, around the hairline, towards the temple. Now you'll notice that I'm not connecting these two where I've placed them, because I want a gap in the middle, because this is where I'm going to apply my concealer here to help create that lifted look that I was talking to you about. So I'm just going to stop there for now. I'm just looking down at the mirror, just making sure that everything's looking okay. It's looking good, looking good. Now we're going to go in with the lighter coloured now, again from the Vitamin C concealer. I'm going to go in with the light 1W and just see how that kind of fares with me today. You don't want to go too light. That's a big mistake. Some people go too light of a concealer, and then it kind of makes you look washed out and it's too strong. I just want it to be a gentle lifted look today. So you want a shade or two lighter than your foundation. So I'll just put a little bit here, and you can see. You see how it's just a little bit more lighter than my foundation, my complexion, than when I have on. So again, I'm just going to do some dots upwards, up on the cheekbone towards the temple. I'm going to blend that out. And then I'm going to do a little bit more towards the corner of my eye, just there. And I'm going to blend that out. I'm also going to apply, it looks crazy, but you know, trust the process, in the corner of my nose upwards, and then at the bottom of my lip, just there. And it's just going to help create that lifted effect that I was talking about. And I'm going to apply this one with my damp beauty blender this time. So I've just picked up the rest of the product that I had on my hand there, and I'm just going to blend that up. Up. You see already? It's just creating a light, lifted look. Less is more, product placement. And I'm just blending that out. It's lovely. And again, I'm just blending that up and out. Lovely. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side and I'll be straight back. And that's all of that blended out. Now, again, if you wanted a little bit more lighter lifted coverage, then you could go ahead and apply another layer over what you have done. But for now, I'm happy. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to go ahead and set this now. I'm going to use a powder. So this is just a solid powder, but it kind of disperses really lightly and gently. This is the Fresh Nude powder. I'm going to use shade 20. I'm going to be using this brush here. Again, this is just the highlighting brush, but it's nice and fluffy at the end, so it's nice at picking up the powder. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up the powder here. I'm going to tap off any excess, and I'm just going to go ahead and set where I have applied the concealer. Just because I don't want it to crease, and I want to make sure that it stays there in place all day. And it also has an extra very small amount of coverage. But if you have an oilier face or an oilier T-zone, you might want to go ahead and do a powder all over your face. I am quite happy just to set the areas where I have placed the concealer. So again, you might want to use a powder that is a shade lighter than your foundation, or 2 shades lighter, whatever you prefer. I like to do it 2 shades lighter than my foundation. I just feel like it suits me much better, and of course makeup is personal preference, whatever you're into, right? So I am happy with that. I think it looks nice and lifted and light as well, and natural at the same time, and it hasn't taken hardly any time at all. Blusher is next. I'm going to go in with this beautiful colour. This is again from the Body Shop in shade 06. It's a beautiful kind of coral shade. I'm going to go ahead and use another one now. You can see that I have colour coordinated this one, so I know that this one is for my blusher. Again, I'm just going to pick up the product, tap off the excess. Less is more. Now, product placement again. Over the years, we've been taught to kind of smile and then do it on the apples of the cheeks, which is fine. It can create a kind of rounded face. So if you're looking for a rounded face look, then definitely go ahead and apply them on your cheeks, apples of your cheeks. I am going to go ahead and place it on my cheekbone a little bit higher up again to give me a nice lifted look. And I'm just going to go ahead and just dab the product on and up towards the hairline. Now, I prefer to dab products than drag products, because of course when you do your foundation, your concealer and your powder, you're building layers up on the skin. Depending on your skin type, sometimes it can start to wear away and drag the foundation. And again, so if I'm just gently tapping it onto the skin, I am controlling where I'm placing the product. So again, just looking at the mirror, I'm happy with that. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more on there. And I'm just going to lift it up towards the hairline on the cheekbone. It's giving me a nice little bit of colour. Other side is done. Now you might want to go over with some bronzer on this if you like bronzer. I'm quite happy with where I placed my darker shade earlier. I think that's added quite a warming effect onto the skin. I will, however, go in with just a little bit of highlighter. So this is the Glistening Glow powder. So it has got like a shimmer bronzer here, but it's also got a shimmered highlighter here too. So I've got an angled brush for this. So I'd normally use the angled brush on the bronze section, and then I would use kind of like the tip area for the highlight. Now my top tip for this would be to set your face now. So I'm going to use the Rose Dewy Glow setting spray. Now I really like setting spray, one of my favourite products. And just while that's starting to set, but not fully set, I will go over with my highlighter. It just kind of clings on a little bit better. so I can gently kind of fluff it against the skin. So again, I've just picked a little bit up there, and I'm just looking at the high point of my cheekbone, just underneath my eye, above my blush, and I'm just gonna just very gently dust that along and up. Can you see it? Just gives a little bit, it's a little extra glow. Same on the other side. And then if you want to have control again, you can get your ring finger or your pinky, and you might want to place a little bit on the tip of your nose, on your Cupid's bow, maybe even on your chin area. But there we have it. It's a very light, fresh makeup look, and what I would probably do on my eyes really quickly just to finish the look is I would of course grab a palette. I would grab a nude shade, so this is the Own Your Naturals colour, and I would just add a nude shade all over the eyelid just as a base. Again, all over the eye. You could add a shimmer to your tear duct area if you wanted to give you an extra kind of fresh glow. I'm just going to go ahead and add the tan shade here just over my crease area just to finish this look off. So I'm just going to get a fluffy brush, going to pick up the product, don't forget to tap off the excess, and where my crease is here, I have hooded eyes, I'm just going to do it just above it, and I'm just going to do a windscreen wipe motion just to help blend all of that out. And I'm not going to dip back into the palette until I've used all the powder or the product that is on my brush, and this will just help to kind of create a light clean eyeshadow look really quickly. Again, on the outside, I'm just going to go backward and forward, backward and forward, backward and forward, backward and forward, just above my crease, and I'm just going to keep blending that in so there's no harsh lines anywhere. I'm just looking in the mirror, making sure that I have a decent amount of product on both eyes. But there we have it. I really hope you like this look. I'm really enjoying it at the moment. You can do some more setting spray over the top or top up any areas that you feel like you need a little bit more on. But hopefully you've enjoyed this look, and maybe you've learned a new top tip or two. But let me know your thoughts, and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye.